Kamen Rider Blade was a season of Kamen Rider I was always drawn to thanks to its beautiful playing card aesthetics for both the heroes and monsters, but cool looking suits is one thing, what about the story those suits are dropped into? Blade follows 3, later 4 Kamen Riders in a battle royale between the undead, monsters that represent the origin of every animal, including humans. After the battle fight millions of years ago, the undead were supposed to be sealed away, but some scientists searching for eternal life released them in the modern day, leading to the creation of the Board Riders to seal the remaining undead. And if you thought that the writers working for Board would be an integral part of the series for a while, that's cute. Yeah, Board is destroyed at the end of the first episode. I've often seen people confused about Blade's first few episodes, since it decides to mess with the status quo it's set up minutes after establishing it. You still get proper introductions to characters, but in terms of narrative, it's a weird start. Speaking of the start, the first 26 episodes of Blade are head-written by international man of mystery Shoji Amai. Seriously, this guy has no other credits or information on him other than Kamen Rider Blade. Kamen Rider veteran writer and meme man Toshiki Inoue, along with Sho Awakawa, also provided scripts early on, but by episode 31, when Elements became the main theme, Shoji Amai had left, with Sho Awakawa head writing for the rest of the series. This change most likely happened because Blade was a ratings disappointment, with merchandise selling poorly compared to past series. The creative direction needed to change to reinvigorate interest in this show, and while I do think Blade has a consistent narrative despite the writer's change, Awakawa did some great stuff with the show, and possibly wrote the best ending to a tokusatsu series ever, though that ending will mean nothing if I don't care about the characters. Kenzaki's our main protagonist, being the titular Kamen Rider Blade. He is the usual selfless, wholesome hero you see in these kinds of shows, though some automatically write him off as a Blade character because of those traits, but I find Kenzaki to be more than that. In the early episodes, he barely stood a chance against the undead and doubted himself, while with the help of his friends, he got his act together and became more confident with himself and got better at fighting the undead. Kenzaki is more famous within the Japanese fandom for this scene, which became a meme with fans. The reason it became a meme is that Kenzaki's actors slurred up the pronunciation of the line along with how the scene was shot, edited, and delivered. Blade has a lot of goofy acting in the early half that spawned memes in Japan, which I don't mind. Yeah, it could be seen as blemishes on the show's quality, but it's a very entertaining flaw rather than a frustrating one. Tachibana is our secondary Kamen Rider Garen, who starts off the show seemingly as a traitor, but it's soon revealed that he's one of the good guys, but just really wants to go on this alone. Tachibana has 2 main arcs throughout the show. In the first half, he must overcome a fear he has to become stronger, and that's cured by an undead killing his girlfriend. Oof. I mean, the death scene is well done and emotional, especially since we got to know her for multiple episodes, but man, it kinda sucks that we had to fringe a woman to give the man some character development. Again, still well done, but a little frustrating. However, in the second half, Tachibana is learning to trust his friends, which is a well done full circle moment from being standoffish at the beginning of the series to fighting for others by the end. Mutsuki is an average high school student who's introduced to the show by being saved by Blade and looking up to him. However, the spider undead chooses him to become Kamen Rider Liango, who starts to take over Mutsuki. He manages to suppress it for a while thanks to Tachibana mentoring him, but after a while the spider undead fully takes over Mutsuki. Luckily, he manages to break free of it thanks to his girlfriend and the other Kamen Riders. Mutsuki's arc is a coming-of-age story, discovering all the ins and outs of his Kamen Rider power set while learning that the true meaning of being a Kamen Rider isn't about being cool, but by saving anyone you can at the cost of your own life. It might have taken him a while to go through this arc, but it's a fascinating slow burn with a great payoff. As for the last of the Kamen Riders in Blade, we have Hajime, aka Kamen Rider Chalice. Hajime arguably gets the most character development in this show and is a huge part of the overarching story. Hajime isn't undead, specifically the Joker undead. Unlike the other undead, Joker isn't related to any species, so if he's the last undead standing, the world will end. This naturally puts our heroes in a dilemma since Hajime slowly grows to appreciate humanity thanks to various mini-arcs where he meets and interacts with various average Joes and supporting characters. He's honestly one of my favorite Kamen Riders for how simultaneously charming and compelling he is. If I were to think of an overall theme that describes Kamen Rider Blade, it would be compassion for others and growth. We see this with Tachibana learning to trust his friends, we see this with Mutsuki learning to protect others, and we see this with Hajime learning about the wonders of the human experience. I'd argue early Heisei Kamen Rider is defined by a melancholy, but at times it can be a comfy melancholy, which I think describes Blade the best. It may not be for everyone, but if it clicks with you, trust me, it will click with you for life. It's just one of those shows where if you love it, you love it. And if you're not sold on this show yet, the actor who plays Dan Moribushi in Ultra 7, Koji Morisugu, is super entertaining in this show and gets a really bloody death. If that doesn't convince you to watch Blade without me spoiling it, I don't know what will.